Hey guys, and welcome back to beginner bass lessons. How are we doing today? All right. So today we've got a really quick lesson. We're going to look at the major 7 arpeggio, but specifically the first and the second inversion. Okay. So last lesson, the last 2 lessons we were looking at just the major 7 arpeggio and the minor 7 arpeggio, moving it all around the 12 keys. And obviously getting that under our fingers and looking at the various different ways we can play it. So we're going to do the same thing today, but with the first and second inversion, okay? So we talked about how a major 7 arpeggio is stacked. So we've got the root, we've got a major third, which takes us to the E, minor third, which takes us to the G, and then we've got another major third, right, which takes us to the B, gives us the major 7 arpeggio. So, yeah, that sounds alright. So, but the problem is we're starting on the root. What if we want to play the arpeggio, but start on a different note, right? So with first inversion, we don't start on the root, we actually start on the third, okay? And the idea is we'd still play all the notes in the arpeggio, but we'd start on the third, then we'd play the 5th, then the 7th, and then we'd come back to the root, okay? So rather than playing C, E, G, B, we play E, G, B, C. And it just gives it a different feel and a different kind of flavour to the sound. So if we just play it through, and we can hear the difference, right? So this is root. And then this is first inversion. Okay, and we can hear that obviously by playing the root an octave higher, it gives it that different sound, different flavour. Okay, so we're still using the exact same notes, just starting in a different position. Okay, so in the key of C, we're starting on the third, which is E, then going to the G, then the B, then the C. Okay, and all of these tabs, they're all going to be over on Patreon, so get yourself over there, have a look. It's like £3 a month, something like that, and go and check it out. So if you've watched any of my lessons before, you're going to know that once we've got something nice and comfortable, yeah, so we've got the inversion feeling good under our fingers, we've then got to move it around the cycle of fourths. And again, I've got a lesson on that on my channel if you guys want to check it out. And we've got to move it around all 12 keys, right? 12 keys in Western music, that's what we've got to work with, you know, and we've got to be comfortable playing this in any key. So as bass players, we're ready for any situation. So we're going to start with C, and we're going to move it around the cycle of fourths, okay? No metronome to begin with, just going to get it under the fingers, getting it feeling comfortable, and then obviously we can then introduce the metronome, okay? So I'm just going to play it through, and again, the exercise for this, all the tabs on Patreon if you guys want to check it out. So here we go. So, I mean, the obvious challenge with this is obviously we're not looking for the root, yeah? So, for example, in the key of C, we're not actually looking for the C, we're looking for the third, which is the E, which again will help us with our fretboard knowledge, okay? So, again, we've kind of moved it all around, all 12 keys. okay? And the idea is to get it nice and comfortable, and then we'll introduce the metronome, okay? So we've looked at the first inversion, and we know that the first inversion, we're playing the same notes, but we're just starting rather on the third. We're starting on the first, the root. We're starting on the third, which is the E, okay? And we're playing E, G, B, C. So second inversion, I'm sure you can probably figure it out. We're not going to start on the root. We're not going to start on the thirds. We're going to come up to the G. We're going to start on the fifth, right? So again, still playing everything, the same notes, just in a different order, okay? So we're going to start on the fifth, then we've got the seventh, then we're back to the octave, and this is where thinking about it and thinking about an arpeggio as stacking thirds comes in useful, because we know the third after the root is a major third in a major arpeggio, right? So we've got G, major third to B, then we're gonna come up a semitone, come up a semitone to C, and then we're gonna go to that major third, which brings us back to the E. So fifth, seventh, root, third, okay? And that's not too bad, because our root note C is on our E string, you know, and the fifth is on our A. We still have we don't really have to shift. We've got all the notes kind of in front of us, right? Now, when we get to moving this around the cycle of fourths, and we start getting to, let's say, F, for example, it becomes a bit different, right? So we've talked about our C major 7 in second inversion. What about F? Okay, so we've got F. We're starting on the fifth, okay, down here, which is our C. And so we're starting on the fifth. We know we have to go to a major third to get that seventh. Come up a semitone back to the root. And the problem now on a 4-string is we're out of strings, right? We can't cross the strings anymore. So we can't just do the major third like you would with the C major 7, right? We've run out of room here. So we have to look at the major third here on the 14th, right? So it'd be, C major third can go there, right? But with F major 7, we have to come up here, okay? And this is why it's really good to think of arpeggios as stacked thirds, okay? So we're going to get that nice and comfortable, and do take your time with this, okay? And like I said, tabs will be over on Patreon for you guys. So just start with C major, you know, second inversion, get it nice and comfortable. And then when you're ready, move over to F, okay? And get used to that stretch. Yeah. And that's a good exercise in itself. Just C and F, okay? And you guys can take as long as you want with this, right? You know, we don't want to rush it. And kind of once we're feeling reasonably good, you know, we've got the C major in second inversion, the F major 7 in second inversion. Again, we can start looking at moving this through the cycle of fourths, all 12 keys, and we can, you know, we can see how we feel, okay? And again, the challenge is we're not looking for the root. It's that fifth now, right? So again, it makes it a little bit more difficult. So I'm going to try and move it around in the cycle of fourths. I'm going to go a bit slower because it is quite difficult. I find it quite hard. But again, the more you do it, the more it becomes part of you, your muscle memory, and you'll, you know, eventually it will start feeling natural, okay? So we're going to start with C, move around a cycle of fourths, second inversion, okay? So. Okay, so not smooth particularly, you know, definitely needs some more work. But yeah, that's, you know, that's definitely something that I'll be working on over the next few days. If you follow the channel, obviously there'll be shorts and you'll see them. But yeah, so that's kind of the lesson, right? We've taken this major 7. Okay, if you missed that lesson, go and check it out on the channel. And now we've started looking at first inversions and second inversions, all right? So perfect. Thank you very much, guys. Next lesson will be Friday. I'm going to try and keep it more regular now. So every Monday, every Friday, there'll be a longer form video for you guys to watch, okay? Like and subscribe if you found any value. Tabs on Patreon. And I'll see you next week. I'll see you on Friday, all right? Take care.